Hey, it's March 18th. I just want to describe the types of fraud that Richard Colangelo is involved with and all his people under him. I have books and books of trades. This is a book of trades given to George Jepson. Here's a judicial marshal, Martin Libin, the Director of Legal Services, the Judicial Marshal's Office, okay? I have his letter. It's right here on court operations. Open the book. Look at the case history. Look at the documents. Look at this document. George Jepson, Attorney General. Dear Mr. Flynn, please let this letter serve as notice that I have marked my motion for staying the trial. Indicated blah blah blah. The motion came up on the calendar in Stamford Superior Court. You will not need to appear. I will not need to appear. I'm the plaintiff. Richard Colangelo's the defendant. And the Attorney General wrote us a letter, Robert Fisk, Assistant Attorney General, saying this is our motion to stay the case, okay? They have a duty. They breached it. They didn't even supply us with a single piece of paper and dismissed this many fraudulent stock trades. The entire time they were saying, this is fraud. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. We'll look into this. We'll get back to you. We'll look in. We've never seen a case like this. Explain it to us. We don't understand. I said, hold on. How could you not understand? It's simple accounting. This is a letter. This is a case against Fidelity, NFS. It's in the screen in the Stamford Superior Court. Richard Colangelo is a defendant. What happened? The Attorney General wrote a letter to the judge, and he got dismissed. Let's talk about what actually happened. I think you can understand that. But look at these documents, okay? This is James Manning's monthly statement. James Manning is worth $50 million. He owns a bank. He lives in Norwalk. If you look at what he did, every time he sold a stock, he got a credit. Credit. Okay, he sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of this stock. And here's a buy, generating a debit. So when you buy a stock, you pay for it. When you sell a stock, you sell it. He sold all these transactions, okay? He was an insider, okay? He had a corporate deal with this company. This is the interesting part. On 3/17, as of 3/14, he bought 4,000 Select Therapeutics at 7 9/16. There's no debit. He didn't have to pay for it. The stock is trading at 7 9/16. 4,000 shares is like 35,000. I don't know what it is. But you normally would see an entry here. So he bought $250,000 worth of stock here, and he sold $250,000 worth of stock here, all on the same day, pretty much. But here, he bought 4,000 at zero. It didn't cost him a penny, okay? What's the interesting part about this? This is his account number, okay? This is the exhibit in the trial. This is the 38th stock trade we gave to Richard Colangelo, okay? Now, James Manning is a multimillionaire who owns a bank, who never came to court, never filed any records, never answered any depositions, never came to the NASD arbitration, never answered any request for production, never testified, never appeared as a witness in a trial in Stamford Superior Court. And this is something that you need to look at, unfortunately. This is a second statement. This is my godmother's bank account, okay? At the same time, at the same day, she sold the same stock at the same price as James Manning. And she got no money. So in other words, the stock was trading at 7 9/16. They crossed the stock at 0, Bank America, stole it from her, my aunt, and gave it to their partner, who working with Kelly Drye and Warren, Bank America's attorney. This is a Bank America brokerage statement, stealing money by crossing stocks at 0 that were trading at 7 9/16. Now, there are thousands of transactions where the bank purchased stocks from unsuspecting retail customers at 0. What does this mean? This means they falsified the 1099s, taking her cost basis for the stock, giving her no proceeds, and he was able to buy the stock at 0. She ended up selling a stock at 0 that was trading at 7 9/16. Is that clear? She should have had a $30,000 credit to her account. He should have had to pay for the trade, which would be a debit to his account. What happened? The 1099s are falsified. Why? Because there's a stock trade with no cost basis going into his account. And the statement says 7 9/16. So his accountant will take the cost basis and assume he paid the money. But these fields are suppressed on keyed entry. And what happens is the bankers at the end of the day have a blotter showing the money transfer between the accounts. This is money laundering, okay? Securities fraud, and it's racketeering, because this is how many there are. And it adds up to, millions of dollars. So, sorry, I'm getting a bunch of calls. But I want to express that to cross a stock at 0 that's trading at 100 and taking it away from someone at 0 and providing them with a 1099 that's telling them they have a taxable trade with a taxable cost basis. In other words, how can you be taxed on a transaction where you never got the proceeds? That's what they did. They forced all these people to pay taxes on trades where they didn't get the proceeds, but they generated for the IRS a taxable event. So here you go. You buy a stock at 0, you sell it at 10, you make $100,000. Guess what? They send a notice, Schedule D, to the IRS. They generate a taxable cost basis on your Schedule D. You need to report it, and you need to pay the income. They are reporting taxable income on trades where they kept all the proceeds. How many trades? Thousands of trades. These people in Bank America on Atlantic Street in Stamford, Connecticut, are robbing people. How many people did they do this to? A very large amount. So what happened? We went to the state's attorney. We went to the attorney general. We went to Blumenthal. We sent letters to Blumenthal. We never actually sat down with them like we sat down with these guys. These guys are in on the fraud. Why? Because not only did we go to the prior attorney general, we've written letters to every attorney general. And when you sue the state's attorney for not doing his job, they don't have immunity for certain types of transactions. They needed to call the IRS and fix this problem because people had to pay taxes on gains they never took. And it's not an ordinary type of fraud. I've never seen this or heard of this type of transaction done before. This is pretty much double. It's I can't describe it. I mean, here we go. We have the records. Illegal cross trades between a banking executive, client of Bank America, Mr. Manning, client of Kelly Drye and Warren, where Judge Adams' law firm works, and Judge Adams appoints the judges hearing the trials where the money that his law firm is billing his client for as they get robbed. And then to find out that these unsuspecting people have to pay taxes on gains they never received is criminal. It's a crime. And covering it up by instructing the judge to dismiss the case. There's no legal opinion. This is racketeering on part of the people covering up the fraud. In addition, because these are state employees covering up for state entities that are organizing, it's organized crime. Sorry. So thank you very much. I want to explain that the mutual fund statements are compromised, the brokerage account statements. They refused to give us any records because they knew after we showed them these documents that they had an enormous problem and they didn't want their own clients going to jail. So what they do? They kept the money. They are commissioners of the court stealing this money. The judge is a partner at the law firm laundering the money. And the attorney general instructed the judge to dismiss the case, and they did. So there's case after case. There's 250 cases like this, people. There's 250 cases like this. This is one trade of one case. There are so many trades and so many cases like this that it is unconscionable. There's nothing else I can say about it except that this is my aunt. This is her life savings. She's a teacher. She's a Democrat, and the Democrats robbed her. I don't get it. They think they're damaging me by stealing money from my aunt, and that's just another type of fraud I'm going to highlight. There are many more to come, people. I hate to tell you, I'm probably going to bore the hell out of you, but if you add up the amounts of money being stolen, this is $32,000, this one trade. Okay, the next trade might be $250,000. There are trades that large where the money's missing. And I don't want to bore you, but I'm at 13 minutes. I think the shorter the conversation is, the better. I showed you both statements. The trades were crossed between the two accounts, and the bank stole from my aunt. Thank you.